Because his policy is a policy of nyama and mchele. That is not what we are looking for as Mount Kenya region. We are looking for bigger and more aggressive investments in terms of industrialization and manufacturing. That is what we are looking for.
Political beggars?
Yes, because they begged for those positions by their souls. They sold their souls for them to get those political positions. We are not anticipating for any event to come tomorrow that he declares himself a dictator.
Does that inform why you refer to him as modern day Moi?
I have never referred to him as modern day Moi. I refer to him as Moi by his deed and character.
What a privilege, what an honor. It's such a true delight to have you on Richard Mwenja exclusive, the Year of our Lord 2024. Still, the Easter season rent in the air. And we are bringing to you the most comprehensive coverage on matters, politics and governance here in Kenya and across the region. I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenja, and with me today is your favorite advocate of the High Court of Kenya, such a flying lawyer and senior partner here at Ndegwa and Ndegwa Company Advocates. I'm talking about none other than Gishugu's biggest export, certainly after Mother Karua, the first of his name, the Black Bull, Ndegwa Njiru.
Hey, Richard.
Come, what's up?
You know how to put something we call in Kikuyu? Geneya. You know what is Geneya?
You tell me.
Geneya is your pamba mtu, you know.
Maybe it will take me before Kings someday.
Yeah, maybe. Only to mention that I do not think that what you have said is what is a true reflection of myself.
It is. We speak to the masses. They reach out back. They reach out to us through feedback. And what I'm saying is just affirming their voices.
You're sure they are not mistaken?
They are not. History will bear us true witness in the fullness of time.
You've been well?
I have been well. How about you?
Very well. How is Professor?
He's doing so well back in Luombei village, enjoying the Easter season with family.
He comes from Kakamega, Moi.
From Vihiga County.
From Vihiga County.
Vihiga County.
Where we have the son of Mululu.
Yeah, sure.
You seem to be having a lot of issues happening in that side of the world. And of course, there's this guy who is emerging, our hero, and Governor Natembea.
Sure.
Huyo sasa ndio tunaangalia sana.
He is my governor.
And you're lucky to have such a vibrant, well-focused, with clarity of thoughts. And a person who is willing to have a change and a revolution of change, which is real change, as opposed to the current crop of leadership.
But we're actually considering relocating my family back to central Kenya because we hear DP Gachagua is really turning the situation around for you guys. How true is that? I'm thinking.
Where did you get that from, Richard?
We talk around town.
That's only happening in central province and not in the country? That is
crashing cartels in the dairy sector, tea sector, coffee sector.
Yes.
That is now cracking down on its illicit liquor.
Gachagua has crushed everybody. He has not just crushed the cartels, he has crushed everybody. In matter of fact, the reason why Mount Kenya region is in this mess is because of Mr. Gachagua.
It is in a mess?
Remember, he came and labeled everybody a cartel. Even those guys who used to buy our coffee, they were labeled cartels. So akawaambia, okay, if you are cartels, then get the genuine people. I told you, when Uhuru was leaving office, a kilo of coffee was going for 150, 160, 120. Last year we were paid at 50 shillings. So who is better? Gachagua or the cartels? I would go for the cartels. They were giving us 130. Gachagua is giving us 50 shillings. It's a disaster. Gachagua is a disaster in Mount Kenya region.
So my family...
Hata fadhali mkuje tumpatie mkae naye huko watu wa nini? Watu wa Trans Nzoia. And I was by the way, I was in Nyeri. Last week, and people have completely fallen. He has fallen out of favor with the people because his policy is a policy of nyama and mchele. That is not what we are looking for as Mount Kenya region. We are looking for bigger and more aggressive investments in terms of industrialization and manufacturing. That is what we are looking for. His work is just clapping, Hosanna, Hosanna, hail, hail the king, Hosanna, live long. The
Are you saying he's big into praise and worship?
Yes.
The executive of the day.
He's the one who is leading that choir. Oh, my president, my boss has done. That is not our concern. The president has not done it. It is our money that has done it, if he has ever done it anyway.
He shouldn't take credit
and we all know an apology.
He shouldn't take credit for penetrating, seeing penetration of subsidized fertilizer in Mount Kenya.
The subsidized fertilizer you call it? Hii mawe watu wanapewa, nimesikia ni mawe na mavi ya punda.
Subsidizing production.
Oh my goodness, I bought that fertilizer. It's mawe.
Dennis Itumbi, CS Linturi have refuted such claims.
It's not even dissolving.
You have been challenged to take evidence.
Let them give us their... Let them go. Even in Maragua, even in Kirinyaga. Let them collect samples in the presence of the media. Let them take those samples for analysis. We see. I am urging Kenyans just to... You guys are on your own. There is no system in this country that is working.
So what then do you make of CS for Agriculture Linturi, who has refuted such claims? That what government is dishing out is standard quality fertilizer.
Didn't you see recently...
an expose, right?
An expose by Alan Nyamo.
Some quarters in government say it was sponsored for malicious reasons.
Even if it was sponsored, the fact is the expose cost production. There is cost for production of that expose. So whether he got the money from the moon or from the sun or whoever sponsored him, the fact of the matter is that he exposed the rot in government.
Under the watch of KEBS and government.
Similarly, the same has been exposed by Citizen TV. You cannot discredit Citizen TV. You cannot.
So then what do you make of Itumbi, who has challenged people like you to bring solid evidence with regards to subsidized fertilizer?
Let's not give credit where it's not worth.
He's not a man you can hold a conversation about?
No, Dennis Itumbi is quite a brilliant young man. He's a man who can sustain a debate. You cannot underestimate him. But when it comes to try and watch the dirty government, then there I depart. By the way, Dennis Itumbi is my relative. He is my relative. But we belong to different worlds. But he's a decent man. If Dennis wants to be decent, he's decent.
He can, if
he
wants.
He's a very decent man. Yes.
Moving on swiftly.
He knows his boundaries. He knows what to do. I would give credit to him. Not because he's my relative, but because Dennis is a decent man. He's a very tidy man.
Very well.
Yeah. It's only that he's working with dirty people.
But he's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
Very. Unlike your friend maybe Kimani Ichung'wah, whom you consider a bad boy.
You cannot categorize Kimani Ichung'wah among the boys. You need to get another category for him. The boy is too full of himself. He's so proud. He thinks now he has been to the moon and back. Just because he's a leader of majority, he thinks he has achieved it all. He doesn't know that there are people like Totoman in this country. And I have kept on telling that young man from Kikuyu to go slow. To go slow. Hii nchi imepitiwa na watu wengi sana.
Don't you think the blessings of the president of the day is likely to align the stars for him politically?
But at the end of the day, to come 2027, the guy is going to retire at Kikuyu Slaughterhouse. He's going to retire at Karinde. He's going to retire at Kona, place ya nyama. He may be the next Mutura man.
Are you saying there could be people in Kikuyu who are not happy with his efforts this far?
No one is happy.
Legislation and all.
No one is happy. No one is happy with any of the Mount Kenya legislators. And come 2027, we are all sending them home.
He's working overtime in parliament.
To do what? Working overtime in parliament.
Making sure bills are passed.
To come up with oppressive laws, the one that is now legislating. And unto you Kenyans, and especially the Kikuyus out there, this boy is legislating the Land Act, which will cause menace and havocs around Mount Kenya region. And not just in Mount Kenya region, even for them that our people were in diaspora. Yes.
Let's advance that conversation on legislation and the role of the parliament of the day to represent, to oversight and to offer legislation. Budget and Appropriations Committee Chairperson Ndindi Nyoro has actually implored Kenya Revenue Authority, the taxman, to engage the public in more solid public participation before any other additional dues. And he says the taxes of the day are somewhat predatory and there's a need for us to reconsider some of these things. For a man whose office wields so much power when it comes to the finance bill of respective financial years, do you think that is a sort of hypocritical move from him?
It's not just hypocritical. It's a person who seems to be lost and in the miasma of his own confusion, and doesn't even understand what is called for him to do as a legislator. And what they don't understand is that William Ruto has given the Kikuyu the rope to go and hang themselves. They are being hanged by this young man from Molo. What is his name? This man who was doing he's called somebody Kimani.
Ngujiri? Kimani Ngujiri?
No.
No, don't for Bahati. Okay.
Is this another young man, Akikuyu, who was vocal in trying to say we are doing public participation in the issues of the levy. Then there is also Kimani Ishongwa. There is Dede Nyoro. There is this guy from the former DO from Madeira, Mr. Gachagua. William Ruto has given Kikuyus the rope to go and hang themselves.
Are you saying he duped Mount Kenya during the campaign period?
Yes. So that if that system fails, William will say, it is your Kikuyus who have failed you, not me. It is the Kikuyus who came with the oppressive laws for legislation on taxation and the taxation of avocados, not me. So it is hypocritical for Dede Nyoro to tell the Kenya Revenue Authority to do public participation. Do public participation of what? And you are deemed to have done it during the time of the legislation and the formulation of that legislation. What can KRA do? You see, they are trying to pass over the ball to the wrong person, a person who is not in the field playing that particular game. So how do you pass over the ball of public participation to the KRA? It is the responsibility of the legislature to do good laws. So if you find that this law is not good, propose the amendments in parliament. That's why we are saying that we have a parliament that has been emasculated by William Ruto. It has no power of itself. It's completely impotent.
And do you think the speakers of the National Assembly and Senate respectively can turn around the situation? Amason Kingi and Wetangula?
They cannot. None of them has the capacity. None of them. They are all political beggars.
Political beggars?
Yes, because they begged for those positions by their souls. They sold their souls for them to get those political positions.
Are you taking concern with their merit and competency?
None of them has merits. When Kingi was the main, none of them have merits. They have problems.
So the fish has already spoiled from the head.
Kabisa. But I would rather even credit Kingi, because at least when you go to the Senate, you can see some work is being done. Speaker King is not like Speaker Wetangula. At least there is a bit of objectivity in the Senate.
Are you saying
and if King is just slightly supported, kidogo tu hivi, he can be a very good speaker if he's supported and given the necessary infrastructure and support.
Very well.
He can be a wonderful and a marvelous man.
Let's advance that conversation on legislation.
Yes.
And a while back, a few weeks ago, we saw Gatanga Member of Parliament Edward Muriu and some other legislators from Mount Kenya come forth decrying what they term predatory and oppressive taxes. And they charge the crowd henceforth not to be remitting some of the taxes to the taxman KRA with regards to avocado tax and all other levies, agricultural levies. What do you make of that move by Edward Muriu, lawmaker?
It tells me that my good learned friend is incompetent and that does not understand what is being called for to do in parliament, because those laws passed while they were there. But what they said the next day is that, and it was carried on standard, and especially from this member of parliament from Kandara, that hata sikujua ati hizi sheria ziko hapo. Where is this law coming from? Who legislated this? The other day, the member of parliament for Maragua, she's called Wamaua, said that she could not read the law because it was big as huge as a Bible. So it is a challenge to the Mount Kenya region. You elected incompetent people who do not understand why they are in parliament. So if you want to save themselves, if you want to save yourselves, kick these guys out come 2027. None of them should ever see parliament again. You know, you cannot elect incompetent people, then you keep on complaining about the taxation of avocados. Yeah, you must elect a watchdog that will represent your views.
So you consider that move to be cheap populism from Edward Muriu and his fellow legislators?
Yes, and taking advantage of the ignorance of our people.
Mockery of the poor and all.
Yes, it's a mockery.
Let's advance that conversation, Ndegwa Njiru. And how about we discuss what has made the parliament of the day to be this manipulated? Do you credit that to the place of money in Kenyan politics?
Yes. That money swayed the opinion of the people, and they ended up electing the wrong persons. And then because this money that they were giving to citizens was not money that was coming from their pockets, it was coming from their master, then they have to worship and adore the master, who is William Ruto, because his own was who was paying the piper at that particular time. So they cannot go against him at any given time. They cannot disagree with him at any given time, other than people who are strong like Wamushomba. The rest cannot.
Then that means we could be having a president who is a dictator in the making.
Not in the making, he is already one. We are not anticipating for any event to come tomorrow that he declares himself a dictator.
Does that inform why you refer to him as modern day Moi?
I have never referred to him as modern day Moi. I refer to him as Moi by his deed and character. I have never missed my words on that issue. That is a dictator, and that's why we are saying dictatorship tower.
Dictators don't go to the ground to meet the poor on those many development tours that he's doing.
If you have seen what the dictators do, you need to know what Agostino Pinochet was doing in Chile. They appear to be very people-friendly, so that they can endear themselves and entice the people and entangle them into them believing. Look at what happened to Idi Amin. Idi Amin portrayed himself as the people's president. You see, just to make sure that they dissuade people from ever thinking that these guys are dictators. Dictators work the way William Ruto works.
You're talking matters to do with using public enticement to advance a personal political interest.
Yes.
Then, what do you make of this move by President Ruto saying they're going to pay 2 years worth of rent to all those who will be affected by the affordable housing projects? Do you also consider that cheap and enticing the ground?
This is a person or a man who is in perpetual habit of giving promises. He promised the women, young mothers, that he'll give them diapers. I want to tell him that my wife has registered a child, and I have not seen that diaper.
A bouncing one?
If I knew where it was, I would have gone for it, Richard. So, nobody takes William Ruto seriously. All those promises are fake. And the people who are being evicted, they better take legal actions to avert that action of that threat of eviction. You'll never see that money. If the guy is not able to pay doctors, how will he pay rent? If the guy is not able to send capitation to our schools, how will he pay rent? If the guy is not able to pay NHIF, how will he pay rent? He's lying.
But he's come forth and say, come the financial year 2024-2025 budget, it is going to be accountable and prudent. That is his word.
He's a man of promises, Mr. Promise.
And he has given a notice to all parastatal heads and anyone in public service engaged in corruption.
Yes.
Finally, he's walking the talk on corruption.
Let him first of all send his DP home, because DP was involved in corruption in Bungoma. Let him send him home first. Let him also reinvestigate the Kimorel and Arol Dam. Right? Let him investigate all those guys who are in his government and not paying KRA. Let him first of all investigate.
Are you not happy with the fact that part of his fight against graft is taking back all grabbed public land? You've seen high former senior officials, their land taken back to the government. Yes,
and I have told you what Zacchaeus did. Zacchaeus first of all said, I'm going to return everything if I must see Jesus. So let him first of all return the KAA land at Western Hotel, so that we may know that now Mr. William Ruto has seen the salvation, he has seen the light, he has heard the Damascus moment, and the donkey has spoken.
Are you saying that he's not worth the praise on the fight against graft?
How can corruption fight itself?
Can't you be any polite to the president?
How can corruption fight itself? How? And you mean corruption can fight corruption? You must be a bit sick. Again, also perhaps seeking or awaiting the attendance of a psychiatrist.
So then again, when it comes to the many promises this regime made to many Kenyans, for those who voted for them and those who never voted for them, come the end of the 5 years in 2027, are we likely to have much to write home about, especially on the cost of living issue?
Yeah. The only thing that we should write home about is the oppression and the miseries that our people have gone through. And I implore upon them to remember those suffering on the date of the voting. When you go to vote, on the day of the voting, vote against the suffering. When you go to voting on the day of the voting, vote against a government that is led with lies. If you go to voting on the second day of August, vote against people without integrity. When you go out for voting, vote against fake fertilizer. When you go for voting, vote against the oppressive taxation regimes like the housing levy. When you go out for voting, vote against leaders who cannot be trusted. When you go out for voting, vote against that person who has said that he does not want leader mama. If you go out for voting, then vote against that leader who has said that he does not want NHIF. Vote against that person who has said that he cannot sell capitation. Vote for people and men of character. And that's why I like the approach His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka is taking. And the Azimio fraternity, of course, not even to fail to mention people like Martha Karua and people like Akina Eugene Wamalo, people like Akina Jeremiah Kioni, Mwangi Wairia, Professor Jokoya, all those individuals. People like Akina, the former governor Oparanya,
Derito
Mureithi. These are people, of course, somebody like Lee Kenyanjui. You understand?
Sure.
These are people who are focused on making sure that governance is fixed. And I told you, if you fix governance, you will not have fake fertilizer. If you fix governance, you will not fail to have capitation being paid. If you fix governance, you fix health sector. If you fix governance, you fix the farming, the agricultural sector. If you fix governance, you fix the transport sector. That to the extent that you shall not have all these unaccounted and unwarranted deaths from the traffic, from our roads. If you fix governance, you fix against lights going off left, right, and center. If you fix governance, you fix vaccination for your children. If you fix governance, you fix capitation for your schools. If you fix governance, you fix the hunger that you suffer every day. If you fix governance, you fix basically each and every sector.
Very well.
And why you can see that we are having fake fertilizer is because there is total breakdown and failure of governance.
Extreme impunity?
Not impunity, is people stealing and doing spillage of government resources. That's why we are saying people like Kalonzo Musyoka, they must come out and save this country.
Talking of which, and this is a subject that many would want to have your thought on.
You need to go and talk to that gentleman.
You should take me there.
Excellency.
I've been calling Wamshomba, she doesn't pick my calls.
No, Wamshomba is such a
and Kalonzo as well.
No, these are people that you can speak to. We are focused in making sure that we fix the governance in this country.
Please make that an Easter promise that you'll deliver.
I may not deliver by Easter, but I can stick to my words that I'll introduce you to them.
I can't wait.
And also look at people like Martha Karua. Have a session with them. They'll tell you what fixing government means.
Actually, my mother is named after her.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Very lastly, so that you don't digress from the main conversation, and this is a subject many would want you to have your thought on, and that has to do with the future of Azimio. Should Raila Odinga ascend to the African Union Commission chairperson position? Now that we are seeing sort of a battle for the heart and soul of Azimio, and also ODM, to be specific, what do you think the political obituary of Azimio could be underway? Should Raila exit the scene?
It can never be.
At a time when Martha Karua believes she should lead the flock?
There is nothing wrong with Martha Karua taking the position she has taken. There is nothing wrong with His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka taking that position. And any other person within Azimio taking the position they may take. Right? There is not even nothing wrong with friendly fire, exchange of friendly fire or sibling rivalry. That is guaranteed in a society. All what you understand is that Azimio is the one that is going to rescue this country from sinking. And we have all agreed in Azimio that when you're drowning, you do not start calling out for the best diver. Oh, come, start advertising that you want the best diver to come and rescue you. The person who gives you his hand is the one that leads you out of that messy situation of drowning, right? So we understand that we have good swimmers in Azimio, right? We understand that we cannot all swim at the same time and rescue this person. So we shall have one diver who will dive and rescue the economy of this country. We will have one diver in Azimio who will dive and rescue the social status of this country. We will have one diver who will dive and rescue the corruption of the institutions in this country. We will have one diver who will respect the rule of law in this country. We shall have one diver who will dive and rescue the independence of the judiciary in this country. We shall have one diver who will dive, and instead of creating shanties, calling them affordable housing, who will dive and go and come up with a policy, a well thought out policy of manufacturing and industrialization. One diver will be there in Azimio come 2027, and that is guaranteed that we shall not muddy the waters.
It shall happen?
It shall happen. You remember, by the way, and I don't know whether you listen to this guy called Julius Nyerere. I was listening to Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere's speeches and the policy. As early as 1975, Nyerere had come up with a policy of strategic basic industries in each and every region. So each region, the Dar es Salaam region, the Arusha region, each province was given one industry as early as 1975. Today, as late as the 21st century, William Ruto, who is the 21st century leader, is speaking about buying cement, buying darugos, buying sand from Mukambani, and thinking that that will change the economic status of the country.
He said no community will be allowed to progress.
Yeah, that is exactly what he has said.
Over the rest.
And that's why I'm telling the Kikuyus they are on their own, and they have no one to advocate and stand up for them. He said that we shall not allow one community to progress.
Over the rest.
Which community is this? Everybody can answer that question that you're focusing on the Mount Kenya region. And remember, it is the KANU's policy that we shall make sure that the donkey catches up with the horse. It is the KANU's policy that tutawafanya walale kama bahasha. You understand? So we understand where he's coming from.
KANU never departed from his soul.
But he's KANU. He's KANU. He thinks KANU.
Painted in yellow.
He eats KANU. He sleeps KANU. He speaks KANU. So he's perpetuating his father's ideologies of finishing what Moi was not able to finish. And we want to tell him and challenge him to come and tell us which is his community is he focusing on. And we can tell which community because he spoke in presence of Mr. Gachagua and Governor Igoro.
Very lastly, and on a light note, there are sections
so we know
already.
That when he speaks about a community, is targeting the Kikuyus. Is profiling us, is balkanizing us, he's making us look bad as if we eat that which is not justified, failing to remember that we eat our sweat. Yes, so tunataka kumwambia tumemwonea mbali sana. And you remember, this is not the first time he's speaking about this thing. Towards the run up to 2013 elections, he said kama kuna watu wako na shida na Wakikuyu ni sisi wa Kalenjin. Lakini kuna wakati mwingine unawacha hiyo shida inakaa kando kidogo, kwanza unachukua serikali. Kwa sababu hiyo serikali ukiichukua itakusaidia kutatua matatizo ambayo uko nayo. Sasa tumejua sasa amechukua serikali, anataka kuitumia serikali kutatua matatizo na shida zake na Wakikuyu.
Let us all pray for the president. Will you? Will you, Ndegwa Njiru?
What time is it?
Well, that point takes us to the wrap of the conversation today. Ndegwa Njiru certainly doesn't want to pray for the nation and particularly for the head of state. I don't know why, but we shall implore him probably to consider that move. Thank you so much for always tuning in to Richard Mwenja Exclusive, your go-to point on matters, politics and governance, and it's always a distinct honor to have you, Ndegwa Njiru, on board.
Thank you, Richard.
We hope that you'll continue having a successful career.
Thank you, Richard.
And you're doing an amazing job out there.
Thank you, Richard.
Many Kenyans are already endorsing you for Kirinyaga governorship position.
Oh.
Are you likely to go that route?
Not at this time. For now, what we are focused on is making sure that we sort out the social mischiefs and ills in the society. Allow me to wish my family a happy Easter. Mama Ndegwa, Jiro Junior, Mama Moisio, Mama Wangui, have a happy Easter and the entire of the Ndegwa family.
And we thank you and your legal team here. Your brother Mwangi Ndegwa is always welcoming.
He's such a diligent man.
And a rising star.
Of course, we're going to give them opportunities. So like when I was in the Senate, I made sure that all of them have participated fully, the two advocates. And there's a very diligent also young man called Mr. Mutuma, Elias. A perfect man, a good gentleman.
And Lawyer Anne is actually a darling to our company.
Exactly.
She's always very kind to us. Until next time, do enjoy the rest of your day. Ndegwa Njiru, asante sana. From me it is Happy Easter and wishes of nothing but the best tidings on your way.